What's up, everybody? So I'm going to get straight to the point here. I've been living in my van here in New York City for the last 6 weeks. Prior to coming here, I did a little research, tried to find stuff on YouTube, a little van life guide here. Couldn't really find much. Some that helped me a little bit as far as with like street parking rules and street sweepers, which I'll get to. But this video is just a bunch of tips and tricks and whatever I've learned since being here that I wish I would have known prior. All right, first little tip here is going to be that once you find a spot, you want to keep that spot. Now, finding a spot is very hard. You can take hours of your day looking for a spot. That is no joke here. Parking is very limited. A lot of people have their cars parked in the same spot through the entirety of me being here for 6 weeks. You're going to want to find one that hopefully can provide you some solar power, pending you having solar panels on top of your van. For me, it took a few weeks until I finally got into this current spot I'm at, where the sun could actually hit the solar panels for most of the day. We're talking big towering buildings everywhere, but also trees that are everywhere here too. You wouldn't think it, but right here in the middle of the city, there's trees down all these residential areas. So yeah, solar is clutch. You'll want to be close to a transit station if you plan on utilizing them, of course. There are tons of transit stations scattered throughout Manhattan. This is basically all Manhattan for me, at least. So yeah, be close to a transit station. I'll fill you in on transit later, how to use it and all that. You'll want to be close to somewhere that's going to have a public restroom. That's one thing, that's a big tip here. There's no public restrooms. There is, but there isn't. So Starbucks is one that's very clutch. I found one. There's usually Starbucks everywhere around here, but found one pretty close to me. So emergency situations, I'll be able to utilize their restrooms. And then when you find your spot, make sure you check the signs on the road for street sweepers. Everywhere street sweepers, and they take it very seriously here. It's a multi-million-dollar business for the city, so don't get caught without being here for street sweepers. It's a $65 fine if you're not in your vehicle for it, and I'll get into the operations of street sweeping here later in the video, try to help you out a little bit, show you what to expect. All right, the next big point here for being in New York City in your van, and something I was not expecting and was not ready for, was water supply. There is nowhere that you're going to get water. So I'm typically going to water filling stations outside grocery stores, inside Walmarts, gas stations. I've found them all across the country so far. Until I got to the Northeast, nobody does that. So they don't have like a 5-gallon water fill or anything like that, which I typically use. I've got a couple 5-gallon water containers and a gallon water container, all that I can fill up at these water stations. Here, that's a no-go. There's nowhere you're going to find that you can fill up your water here in New York City. And I don't have like a big water tank like some of these other vans, that you may have or whatnot, to be able to fill up for, 40 gallons, 50 gallons for your shower, your sink, or anything like that. I don't have that, but I don't think you can find those types of water filling stations here either. So come prepared for that. Come fully stocked with water. If you have those big water tanks or like the fillable ones like I have, fill them up because you're going to need them. The only resolution I had with this was going to my gym and filling up my water bottles and my 1 gallon and all that at the gym with the fountain water. All right, as is the case with most van lifers who don't have a shower, at least in their car, the only place you're going to be able to shower is the gyms here. I am an Anytime Fitness user, and disclaimer, if you are too, you're going to need to look into another gym. For me here, it was Planet Fitness. Seems pretty big here on the Northeast, and there's plenty of locations all across New York City that will be able to provide you a shower for a limited cost. So I went with the Black Card. You get every location. I think it's $25 or so a month, and or you can do a single location if you plan on just being in one single area. I think it's $10. So that's going to be the only way you can shower around here. Some of the beaches, they may have beach showers for you, but that's, if you've been there, it's not the best shower and not the best water to be using. So do your research. If you're already a Planet Fitness member, you're in luck. There's some other gyms here, but they are all very costly, ranging, $100 a month and more. So yeah, your best bet's going to be Planet Fitness. Okay, so on to the power situation. So I've got a couple batteries that are lined up together, and typically I've never had an issue with power being drawn from them and all that. But as you get here, like I said earlier with the solar power, sometimes you're not getting any solar energy or anything put into your battery banks, and it can draw quickly. So this next tip is power jars. Like, get rid of them. For me, it had to be the fridge. I had to sacrifice not having a fridge, not having cold water. So I love cold water. I absolutely hate warm water, but just one of those sacrifices I'm having to make here in the city. So yeah, anything you can to, turn off to be able to preserve some of your power before you run out, like I have been, and coming into issues here. The fridge was on pretty much throughout the day, drawing power, and it's getting hot here. So when it's hot, my fridge at least will start running even more and more. So it was drawing a lot of power, and unfortunately got to the point where it even turned off because I didn't have the required amp hours or what have you with power. I don't know much about it, but anyways, wish I had just turned off the fridge right away when I got here because I didn't need it. Reason why I wouldn't need it is because good luck cooking here. Well, at least I live in a van that is a short roof, so I'm not really standing up and cooking or have room to even cook inside. But also, you are not going to be able to go to a park and cook outside like I'm used to. Also, propane is not allowed here, so I guess if you have a taller van and you have a propane setup and you're inside, like, no one's going to be able to see that you're using propane. But for me, I use a camp stove, and I take it out to the parks typically when I'm traveling the country and able to cook. But so now, not buying groceries or anything like that, so I didn't need to have anything in my fridge other than cold water. So wish I had just cut the fridge off from the get-go. All right, the next point is the Metro card for taking transit. So got the trains, you got the buses, all that good stuff. It is very useful here, to say the least, because you're going to get tired if you're trying to walk around all day, every day to get everywhere, because, again, if you find a good spot, you don't want to leave it. So, and on that note, there's no parking lots here. So be forewarned, there are no parking lots in Manhattan, at least. I found one parking lot my whole time here. It was in Brooklyn, and it was at a grocery store, and it is heavily looked at, security cameras and all that, regulated, making sure nobody's like staying there. So it's not like you're even going to be staying there, not even be able to go there and like relax. So yeah, I got a Metro card. They have unlimited options. So I've been here for 6 weeks. They have a weekly option or a month option. I chose to just keep doing the weekly option over and over for unlimited rides for $33. And yeah, it's pretty useful. Gets you around pretty quickly. It's nothing to be scared about. I never really went there at like midnight or later, so it wasn't like horrible. You hear these horrible stories about the New York City subway system, but it gets you where you need to go quickly. And then also, it's hard to figure out at first because the stations are all different, and some are going uptown, some are going downtown. You need to make sure you go into the right one. To help you with that, and to help me, especially what helped me learn the subway system was my phone's Maps app. So just type in where you want to go and then switch it from driving to transit, and it's going to pull up all the buses or subway systems that you can utilize to get around the city. So I came out to New York City on a whim. I hadn't been planning to come out here. I didn't have the finances to come out here, as I would have liked to at least. But here are some things that I would have done differently. I would have gotten here sooner. So I showed up May 27th. I got really lucky that throughout most of, all of June, the weather wasn't so bad, but it has been getting really hot now and unbearably hot. So yeah, I would have gotten here sooner. So try to plan your visit not in the summertime because it is unbearable. The humidity is no joke. If you're coming from the West Coast like I was, I've never been to the East Coast. So this is my first experience with like actual humidity, and it sucks. Yeah, try to plan that at a better time. I'm sure I probably could have shown up in April and been good. Been here April and May and June would have been great. But now it's July and it is hot, and I am not a big fan of this humidity. Have a large battery storage. So my battery storage isn't the best. I've just got some regular AGM batteries, and they've been in my van for years now, been used. Batteries have cycles, and it's coming down to where I can tell the battery bank is not what it once was. So make sure you've got some really good batteries here to help get you through this, and drawing your power, whatever you're using, your fridge or your fans. Like for me, I've been having my fan, my roof vent, and my fan inside going all day, all night. So that's the only thing I have drawing power, but you're going to need that. And yeah, the other thing I would have done differently, I touched on it earlier, would have just turned off the fridge. Do not need it here. Would have been nice to have cold water. That's about it. But I mean, once you step out of the van and you're out there for a little bit, your water's not that cold anymore. All right, one final little tip here is the Wi-Fi here. So there is free public Wi-Fi basically all throughout the city. You just have to find them. I'm going to take a picture of it and probably insert it right here, but it's called Link NYC. All I had to do was provide my email address, signed up for it, and I have free Wi-Fi basically all throughout the city. It's hit or miss. Throughout the residential areas, you're not really going to find them. They're all usually along the main streets where people are walking or transiting and all that, but the Wi-Fi speeds, I promise you, are faster than any Wi-Fi you've had on the road, and it's faster internet, Wi-Fi, or just plugged in Ethernet internet that I've probably ever had in my entire existence. The upload speeds, crazy. The download speeds, phenomenal. It's just perfect. So definitely recommend using that for any of your Wi-Fi needs. There's been times where I just go set up my camping chair, sit right next to one, and I can sit there and upload YouTube video or anything like that in a matter of no time. Faster than anywhere. Don't bother with Starbucks. Don't bother with, coffee shops, Wi-Fi, nothing like that. The Link NYC is one of the coolest things I've come across on the road, and it is so cool to have here in New York City. All right, outside now, and I'm just going to teach you a little bit about street sweepers. And say, for instance, we got Monday, Thursday, 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Now that's not Monday through Thursday. If it was a through, there's going to be a dash, and they don't do street sweepers like Monday through Friday, but there are going to be parking limits in places where it's only 2 hours. So you need to find a place like this that just has street sweepers posted for their sign, and it's going to be 2 days a week from that certain time. So at that time, from 9 to 10:30 a.m., you need to be at your car. So they're going to come by with street sweepers. You have to be there in your driver's seat, ready for police to come by, because they're going to come by and ticket you. No way butts around it, nothing, like it's happening. So here, let me show you kind of what to do though to keep your spot. This is going to be, so let's say it's Thursday at 9 a.m. You need to be in your car. Let's use this car as an example. This whole row of cars, once the street sweeper comes, like the actual machine comes, the guy driving the street sweepers, every single one of these cars, as long as they're here and they don't want to get ticketed, they're all going to double park over this way. So they're all going to come that way. And they're all going to park along that way while the street sweeper comes along this way and cleans the street. And then everybody in unison all just comes right back into their spot. So that's how you're going to be able to keep your spot that you want to keep for the entirety of your time here. So make sure you're here for street sweepers. It's 2 days a week. Be here for those times. Even when the street sweeper comes and does its thing and you come back and park, you're going to want to still stay in your vehicle until that allotted time, because everybody else does it. So I'm assuming you can still get ticketed if you're not in your vehicle between that said 9 to 10:30 a.m. But the times are different all throughout the city. Just make sure that you check what times you're supposed to be there. So very important, and it's a clutch way to be able to keep your spot if you find a good one.